Moving on, I would like to call upon the next speaker, Mr. NSN Murti, partner, Deloitte India. Can we welcome sir with a huge round of applause?
Thank you for having me here again, and my best wishes to everyone for this entire event. I think this is the, which edition is this, 5 now? 13th edition. Okay, so and I think this is the second edition in Hyderabad, and we have always had great interaction and discussions here. Good morning, Jayeshji, and everyone on the panel. So this, I want to change a little bit, and Ramadeviji said that nothing can be done without the AI, but I will resist myself talking about the AI, because I promised the other panelists that I will not talk about the subjects that they are going to pick it up. Okay, so that's, so I'm going to talk about 3 very simple things. One is, I think, in the last 10 years, there has been a tremendous effort and commitment towards creating a very high amount of quality of service delivery. So bringing the services to the citizens in whatever modes and fashion, whether it is mobile or door-to-door or whatever, I think the number of services which can be offered to the citizen has been the priority, and it has been done by almost every state in a very good fashion. But does the citizen need that? So do I need a bouquet of 100 services, or do I need a service which needs to be completed in a fraction of a second? Is the service fulfillment an important element rather than the service delivery? I've just wanted to change the paradigm. We all talk about service delivery, but is the service delivery is what I and you want as citizens, or I want a perfect service delivery? Is my experience and ability to finish a service is important than number of services offered? I'll give you a small example, and I think Dilip on the panel will also may want to touch upon it in his. Coven didn't do too many things. It did what it did best, and it was able to do it at the quickest way and completed the process. You didn't need to actually open it up again and again to do that work. But there are apps for which you need to actually spend time on that app because you want to be there on that app. Those are the ones which are commercial apps, not the government apps. These are Instagrams, Facebook, Twitter, because you need to be on that app to get continuous information feeds or knowledge. But on the government application, you need to be there on the first 5 days of the month to pay an electricity bill. You only want to see it once. And today, you don't want to even go to that app. You want to only go to the GPay, and it actually gives you a tick saying that within 5 days, your bill is due, and pay it from there. So rethinking the strategy, how will you build the mobile apps or the government service delivery platforms is going to be the next big question going forward in the next 5 years. It won't be like this when we have one single app doing 100 services. It won't be. You need to go back and work with the private sector to offload these transactional services to them, and you focus on information services. That's part one, which will actually decrease the load of your capacity requirements on data center, cloud, infrastructure, and all those things, licensing things, it will reduce. That's I thought I'll leave one. When I was actually preparing for this, one of my team members said, NSN, you should bring up sustainability in the conversation. I said, how will I bring sustainability? Because digital, and we are actually, most of the digital application, everything is a guzzlers of power, right? So he sent me some data points. I can't remember 100%. He said about 1.13 billion websites exist in the world. And out of that, almost 20%, just 200 million plus are in India. 200 million. So 20% of those websites in India, and I don't know how many of those are used by us in our life. But he said one visit to any one of this website is equivalent to driving a car for 10 kilometers, or a CO2 consumption by 10 trees. When I looked at only one visit. So can the government be the most conscious in terms of sustainability by the first thing which I mentioned, bring down the number of times the citizen needs to come to the government portal? I'm including the effort to actually log in, re-log in, getting authenticated, doing all those captchas, all put together, and the number of times it fails, put together. Can I bring down that? And if you are able to bring down by 30%, imagine the amount of CO2 savings done. And please, happy to categorize your websites as the green websites after doing that. And there are tools in this world which actually also tells you how much of carbon emission your code is doing. Because at the end of the day, the website is, one visit is equal to 10 kilometers of driving or 20 trees emission or emission consumption is based on how inefficiently the code is written, because it is making you stay in that website. So green coding is the new trend which has already come, and I think we should start doing this, because when we are 20% of the world's website and growing, we have the responsibility to actually take it up first. And we are known as the IT capital. I'm talking about the India as the IT capital hub. Then we should actually have the talent. When you ask for a next project, ask them, is your team going to actually do a green coding and help me decrease the application emission by so and so? Because it will also have a direct impact on your state data centers, power consumption, all those things. Last two small topics. One is, I see all the projects and applications, but they are piecemealed into saying that I want to tell you, if you buy a house, will you buy a house without doors and locks? Has anyone bought a house without a doors and locks? No. Then why do you pick up an application project without the cybersecurity? It's as simple as having your closed doors, locks, giving an access control to anybody else. So that's where is another piece. Most of the projects, when it is written, and please blame the consultants, I have also played a role of consultant. Please blame the consultants for not writing it or incorporating it, but it's a collective responsibility of the ecosystem. From an OEM standpoint, from the industry standpoint, from government, from the bidders, which are system integrator, and consultants. All five, from the ecosystem standpoint, have to be much more cognizant of the fact that I can't push a product, I can't do a service delivery, I can't do an application development, I can't do a hosting, unless or until I actually tie it up with the cybersecurity. And I'm not saying that do it for everything, but if there is a cyber SOC available in your state, please integrate that with it. Every application should have embedded. The last, which is continuing from where, and the last one, which Madam actually spoke about this, about tech and the startups and everything. I think the time has come for the DPRs to be rewritten in a different fashion, and the RFPs to come out in a different fashion. Sir, I'm just taking a little bit of a leeway here. Please don't get angry with me on that. But I think documents do not do justice to application implementation. Because what is written, a contract is given about 6 to 8 months back. You start writing the DPR. It goes through a couple of cycles of approval. Then the RFP is written. By the time it is written, a tech is there is a startup, and there is something which is beyond your collective intellectual capability in that room, which understands how to deliver that project only in one fashion. I'll take an example. If you are actually saying that I want to deliver benefits from multiple sources of database to a citizen, today we are actually talking about integration, we are talking about how do state hubs and all this thing, but there are people who are sitting outside of it saying that it can be delivered through open networks. ONDC has actually shown how to be delivered. But it is only when you allow, instead of writing of a DPR and the RFP, yes, DPR is required because I need to actually budget it out, but it should not become a mandatory for an RFP to come and say that only do it A, B, C, but actually can I get others to be invited to run a pilots here. Tech pilots, which all the private sector today does. Private sector never buys anything without seeing it. They say show and tell. You have to see it to believe it. It's not about book. Yes, it extends a little bit of a time, but actually it encourages even the startups to start playing a role, because they will bring a cutting edge tech or a service which the larger firms can't actually bring it because of various other reasons. But I'm just saying that if there is a way that we can actually start re-looking at the process, and don't make it as a process of the bid evaluation, but it should be pre-RFP process so that you actually bring the best practices into the project. So I thought I will not touch AI. Other than AI, I will do everything. And I think this is all I wanted to share with all of you. Thank you so much for having me and being here. Thank you so much.